Welcome to this video on Ben's Finger Gym. It's the 9th video in the Mechanics of Practice section of the Desperate Pianist, and it's a serious place to visit. This is where we'll get stuck into some proper training. It's a real good old boot camp. Your hands and fingers are the hardware, the equipment that you use to take the music from your mind onto the keyboard so it comes out how hopefully you want it. Of the 3 pillars of failure, the other 2 being poor memorization and poor practice techniques, if you physically can't play a piece, then you will fail to play it. So you need to uprate your hardware capabilities if that's the case. The stronger and more dexterous your fingers are, the more you'll be able to master those difficult pieces you really want to play. If you think about it, a concert pianist has to be a real elite athlete with some serious muscle development from the elbows down. At Ben's Finger Gym, you can get your finger physical abilities up to a standard where you'll turn failure into success. You will be able to play your pieces. Just like the regular gym, it can get obsessive, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you really want success, then you're going to put the effort in and you will succeed. I know it helped me a lot. You can get tips on building muscle on bodybuilding website, regimes, diet, all that kind of thing. Maybe we could do a video on that later, but it's a bit off topic, but it might help you. Also, just like the regular gym, you will pick up injuries if you're not careful. So make sure that you haven't got tension in your fingers so your muscles are straining against each other. Don't do exercises from cold. Do a bit of piano practice first. Warm yourself up before you start the heavy stuff. And also, if you're new to it, then obviously don't go in for the real heavy stuff until you've built your muscles up a bit and feel the way you're going. If you want to be any good, and you want to do it in a reasonable amount of time, you've got to exercise yourself to the limit to build up your dexterity and your finger muscles. And you can do that here at Ben's Finger Gym. The old adage, no pain, no gain, applies here. The harder you train, the stronger you will get. The more pain, the more gain. All over the internet, you'll see people say, if you hurt, you must stop. You mustn't push yourself so you hurt. Well, I'm sorry, if you go down the gym, you'll see people building their muscles to the limit. If you're worried about hurting yourself and you want to live in cotton wool, well, that's fine, but this isn't the place for you in that case. And I'm sorry, I don't care what other people say. If you want to be anything like the pianist that you see, you're going to have to build your muscles. We're going to build a pattern or a template on which many exercises can be based. The piano is our gym equipment, and this pattern can be described as our rep or our thing that we repeat. It will take a week or 2 to get the template in our mind so we can play it usefully and from memory. The benefits will come later on once we've learned it. It's a long-term project. It will take you months to build up your muscles, but you will get there in the end. We'll cycle through all 12 keys, major and minor, with this template, and we can also include the Locrian, which is a fancy name for starting on the 7th note of a scale instead of the usual 1st. You don't always have to start on C. You can start on any of the keys any way you like. And obviously, if you have a weak hand, if you're left-handed, it's your right hand. If you're right-handed, it's your left hand. Then you need to perhaps play that more to bring it up to the required strength. Below we have the notes written down for the first 3 keys. Observe that we are playing with our hands in opposition. This is because each exercise will then have the same effect on the fingers of each hand at the same time. So that'll give you more idea of what you need to be concentrating on. And play a C major chord to gather your concentration at the beginning. You can download the complete sheet at the website, and what we're going to do now is go over to the piano, so see what all this means in a practical way. Okay, let's have a look how we build up the template. What we're going to do, we're just going to play the 5 notes of C major, like this. And then, for an exercise, we'll play the G, and then we can play the D. What we're doing, just going sharper all the time, and that's quite a nice exercise to do, especially with your eyes closed, to build up your knowledge of the keys. That's the circle of fifths, because if you keep doing that, eventually you'll go all the way back to C major. But what we're going to do is we're just simply going to move up the keyboard key by key. So we're going to start off with C, we're going to go to the minor, then we're going to do the Locrian of the next one up, which is D flat major, then we're going to play D flat major itself, then the minor, then the Locrian of D major, and then D major, then D minor, and so on, until we go all the way up till we finish here like this. Now, it's going to take a while to learn, but you need to learn it so that you can then apply all the exercises to the template. It's a good idea to try it slowly with your eyes closed with a nice even tone if you can. Stay loose, don't tense up, always relax, use the minimum amount of effort, and keep your fingers nicely curled so you don't collapse your joints. Now, another thing is that we're going to play all the way up, because then we can play every combination of black and white notes, and sometimes we'll actually have to lift up and use our fourth fingers and our little fingers, so that'll really strengthen our hands. And if you want to strengthen your hands even more, you can play right the way down there, because on most pianos the key, well, on all acoustic pianos, the hammers are heavier for the bass notes, so you'll need more force to operate those, so you'll get more work on your fingers down there if you want to do that. And conversely, up the top, the hammers are lighter, so the keys are easier to play. So if you're starting, maybe you start at the top, and then you can ease your fingers in more gently then. And what we're going to do, we're going to do all combinations of rhythm and volume, etc., etc. The main benefit we're going to do is we're going to hold fingers down so that we can then exercise fingers just with the finger movement only, so there's no wrist movement or anything else, and that will build our fingers up to the best of our ability. Don't go too fast and fall over. Do each exercise deliberately and carefully. Speed comes naturally over time. It can't really be forced. If you're nice and loose, that's the fundamental secret to being fast. Staccato, legato, we've mentioned it before. We can go through endless combinations of sets for our reps. The most benefit is gained when 1 or 2 fingers are held down, as we will see. Do some reps with your eyes closed and slowly, really feeling the notes and listening to the tone, that it's nice and even, or whatever tone that you want to give, or accent. But remember that going fast is fun. You could even have a little record of your own and see if you can get through it. So have fun as well as be diligent. I'm not aware that you can greatly increase your hand span. Your hands really are as big as they are. They will stretch a bit, and you can do gentle stretching exercises, but it's not worth risking damaging your fingers if you really want to yank them about. That's different from building your muscle. That's just pulling yourself about. And the 10-year-old prodigies that you see on YouTube, they seem to do all right with small hands. In a perverse way, training at Ben's Finger Gym ends up as a rewarding, enjoyable activity in its own right. It's a nice change from the usual practice, and you've got goals and things to do, and the really challenging bits where you have to make your fingers do exactly what you want can be good fun. Exercise variations to fit this template will be an ongoing activity for subscribers on the website. That's going to be a big thing of Ben's weekly lesson, is we're going to go through loads and loads of these exercise variations. I've now posted the rest of the video just going through the whole thing once with some variations. Interestingly, I'm quite rusty. I've been building my repertoire recently, and I make one or two mistakes, if you see. And also, interestingly, my fourth finger joints collapse a bit, which I didn't realise they did so much. So I've got to do some work myself.